In this episode of Carpe Diem.
Food and aging. Do our eating habits need to change as our birthdays add years to our bodies? The simple answer, yes, they do.
Carpe Diem. Seizing the day for Canadians as we age.
Welcome. The big topic today is food. How do we maintain a zippy life? We need energy, just like Chef Franco Felice, this week's Zippy Zoomer.
So you walk to work every day?
Every day, rain or shine.
Getting some nice exercise.
Well, you got to keep in shape, you don't want to get rusty.
We are back with our Zippy Zoomer here in downtown Vancouver at El Nido restaurant with Franco, and he's cooking up a storm.
We're cooking rigatoni with pesto and vegetable sauce. I came to Canada when I was 15.
Okay.
And then that was my first job, working in restaurant, and then I stayed with it. So even when I went to school and I did other, odd jobs, but restaurant always, it became my passion. Can you pass me some garlic? First you crack squash with a knife, so it gets all the flavor out.
Do you think he's going to retire anytime soon?
I don't think so. He has lots of energy. I don't think so.
And you retire, what do? You stay home all day and kind of feel, depressed. The number of age people put in their mind, it's just like a dead end, right? So we deglaze it with a little bit of lemon.
Franco, you said you work out a lot.
Yeah, I work out 3 days a week.
3 days?
And then sometime when I don't have time to go to the gym, I do some push-ups here at the restaurant.
All right, let's see it.
All right. I don't think about getting old.
99, 100.
Life goes on until you have the strength and the ability to do things. Why give it up?
Oh my gosh. It's crazy. Look at this.
He wants to keep himself busy all the time, and that's what I think gives him the energy.
You're going to be like that yourself, right?
I hope.
Okay, Italian food tastes better always with a glass of red wine.
Oh yeah, that's true. Top that one up there. In the meantime, we're gonna head back to the studio with Carmen. If you have Zoomer to nominate, don't forget to nominate them at zippyzoomer@carp.ca. I think you should start eating.
And you should start drinking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great idea. Cheers.
Do you know him, right?
Sure do, Carmen.
He's very fit. You have to eat well to be that fit, right? And he's cooking every day, so he's eating well, which not a lot of seniors are doing.
I hope I can do 100 push-ups when I'm 66.
I think that video really suggests where chefdom has moved on to. A generation ago, you saw a big, ample stomach on a pair of pipe stems in clogs. Now you see, believe me, there weren't many 66-year-old chefs around.
I think they're learning more about nutrition, too. They're learning that they can't have all those extra calories and still maintain
And
a healthy
that dish he
diet.
prepared was very vegetable-centric, a little bit of olive oil.
Lemon juice.
Lemon juice.
Antioxidants from the pesto and the basil.
Really healthy. So he's a walking billboard for his own product.
And now, why don't we take a break and let's hear what you have to say about changing our diets as we age.
Yes, of course we should change because we eat less, and so consequently we have to make sure the things that we eat are more nutrient rich.
Because you have less activities, so the less calories you have to burn, right? So you have to have less food, but better food.
I don't eat as much as I used to. Not that I don't want to, but...
Carpe Diem. Seizing the day for Canadians as we age.
We're talking Zoomer nutrition. Can we maximize every meal to pack a nutritional punch? Let's ask Ingrid.
Well, it's so true. As we get older, our taste buds change and we tend to like sweet things more than the sour or savory. So we tend to go for emptier calories like sugary foods. But our vitamins and minerals are the same. We need the same amount, if not more. So we need foods that are going to give us lots of nutrition, but not in the same huge volume that we ate when we were younger.
Does it matter if it's organic or not organic?
We do have a spectrum of growers at the market, so we certainly love our certified organic growers. They've been with us a long time. Some of them are pioneers in the BC Organics movement, but we also have people who grow organically but don't certify, conventional growers that don't use a lot of inputs on their food. So. And the great thing about farmers markets is you can ask the farmer them directly.
Exactly.
And it's your choice too, right? If you can't afford some of the higher price.
Clearly, I think the trend is definitely pointed at organic growing methodologies. It's just, it tastes better too.
Yes.
It's fresher, more alive. Yeah.
How easy is it to make healthy meals at home? We visited Chef Bond for a cooking lesson. Thank you for having me in here. I'm so excited.
We're excited too.
Yeah, and I see you've got some samples of my kind of perfect food, which is salads and seafood.
Exactly. These are, if you look at the ingredients, very simple, 5 ingredients in each salad, yet each salad is so very different. And this is what I call my protein salad, because I'm doing edamame with tofu. And so I'm going to add some fruit to freshen this out, which will be orange segments.
Love it.
Watermelon.
Love it.
And natural salt from sesame, ginger, and soy sauce. And now my power grains.
Yeah, I love those.
Quinoa. And the power comes in shallot, which is a raw baby onion, fresh parsley for some herbs, and some diced red pepper.
Wow.
Simple lemon juice and olive oil. As you notice, even the dressings are homemade and simple ingredients. But even moderation should be kept in moderation. So, a little blue cheese, and then to give some more substance or substance to the salad, a nice green, darker the green, the better the green, the more nutritious the green. Some croutons for crunch, and sunflower seeds for that nice little crisp, nutty flavor. And as you're talking about seasonality, try and buy foods that are in season for your extra protein. We're going to use spot prawns today. Same as our salmon, for example. This is a sockeye salmon. You take a whole fillet, and what you're going to do is you're going to put your one portion in a plastic bag like this. Yeah. And you're going to put the salmon in the bowl of water, and we're going to use the water pressure to push out the air. And you're going to go all the way down to the Ziploc line. And you just zip it, and as it comes out, there's no
How
air
clever is that?
left in the bag. You could cook this in a pot of boiling water. And you put your salmon right in the water and cook in the BPA 3 bag. And you could portion this whole salmon, put it in your freezer, and you can actually cook it from frozen in the bag in your boiling water, which makes life so easy.
Chef, this was amazing.
Thank you.
I thank you so much for having us with you today, and I know that we've all learned an awful lot. Thank you for being with us, and now we're going to go back to the studio and talk more about healthy meals. Jamie, you know all the chefs. I imagine you know Chef Bond.
Yeah, a great fellow. Pika, of course, a wonderful guy. He has brought up so many young chefs through the Pacific Institute, former president of the Chef's Table Society of British Columbia. So he's about building our culinary healthy eating community. And you know what was great to see there, Ingrid, was that portion of salmon was probably about 7 ounces. So those are getting smaller over time, with a greater concentration, a greater focus on healthy vegetables and all those gorgeous bright colors. So that's a restaurant portion, but what do you think people should be eating at home now?
Well, definitely not 7 ounces at one time, for sure. But generally, we want to do about 3 ounces. Yeah. That's 21 grams of protein. So you're going to have a piece about the size of the palm of your hand and about as thick. But again, what I love about that segment is the vegetables. Lots of greens. So half your plate would be vegetables, and then you'd have this 1/4 of your plate is the 3 ounces.
So the protein is almost becoming a bit more of a garnish now with these plant-driven menus, and easy to do at home as well, especially with your produce.
Yes, this is from the Main Street Station Farmers Market yesterday, and most of it is grown in Vancouver, actually.
And what is this yellow flour?
That is a mustard flour, and what you would probably do with that is stir fry it with some garlic and soy sauce. Yeah, you could chop it raw into a salad, but it would be quite spicy, yeah.
And just 5 ingredients in those things, that's very doable for a lot of seniors. Just pick 5 things out of your fridge and make a beautiful salad.
Quick saute.
So I have a question for you, because I loved all those salads. I tasted them all. It was amazing. Tofu.
Exactly. 3 times a week have a vegetarian type of protein like tofu or edamame or other beans. That's such a big thing.
And a huge trend. Restaurants add at home anything pickled. Yes. Including pickles.
You got to keep our bowels healthy.
Yeah, any pickled vegetable, so easy to do, and vinegar costs next to nothing. So Anybody can do that and put a jar in the fridge, and it's a great between meal snack.
Yeah, and it's great with eggs at breakfast too.
Which is another area where people don't get enough protein. So there was a researcher that said that they've analyzed how seniors are able to take amino acids into their muscles, and they're recommending 30 grams per meal. So that's easy at lunch and dinner, but really challenging at breakfast.
Yeah, what do you recommend for breakfast?
So something like this yogurt, which Greek yogurt has about 15 grams in a cup, and cottage cheese is 15 grams, and then have your dairy, your cup of milk is 8 grams, and you're pretty well close to your 30.
We're going to take a short little break, but before that, let's hear what you have to say about eating out. Ice cream?
I don't eat as much ice cream as I used to, although I'd like to, but I don't eat as much as ice cream because it's a lot of sugar.
We eat a lot in restaurants, which we probably shouldn't do. It costs a bit too much money, but unfortunately, I'm not a good cook, so I like to eat in restaurants where the food is better prepared.
The best restaurant they do for public is not just for me. We had always, I believe, when I talk with most of my friends, they had digestion problem.
Carpe Diem. Seizing the day for Canadians as we age.
The food we eat not only gives us energy, but can also help prevent illness. Ingrid, what are some of the best medicinal foods?
So fruits and vegetables for sure, but with an emphasis on the vegetables for those phytochemicals or those antioxidants that are in the fruits and vegetables, and half a plate at least at lunch and dinner. If you can't eat a half a plate of cooked vegetables at lunch, then snacking on raw vegetables that you might get at your local garden or at the farmer's market.
Anything green.
Anything green, yeah.
I have a quick question from the experts here. So cooked versus raw. Do you lose nutrition when you cook vegetables?
If it's a water soluble or heat soluble or heat affected nutrient, you will lose a bit, so that's something to consider. But considering the whole amount that's in there, you wouldn't lose that much unless you're boiling away for a long time.
And hop on that new trend of pickling. Well, that new old trend of pickling. I mean, everybody's doing it. It's delicious. And it's a great snack throughout the day. You can take your vegetables over time.
Yeah, it's a great way to get your vegetables in. The other trend for healthy eating as well is just making sure, I mentioned about the protein, but also the omega-3s for heart health. As we get older, we want to keep our hearts healthy. So watching the amount of fat you're eating and making it a good fat, and then getting some of those omega-3s.
That being said, Ingrid, you'd have to eat this whole carton to get enough protein for breakfast.
So you're absolutely right. The protein is in the white of the egg, and there's about 6 grams. And I mentioned about the 30 grams. Right. So you would have to eat about 5 eggs to get 30 grams of protein at breakfast. So
what do you recommend, and what don't you recommend?
Well, if you really love eggs and you want to keep your heart healthy, you could buy these simply egg whites and use these egg whites to add to a regular egg, and then make a nice omelet.
High quality yogurts?
Exactly, yogurts like this, where you want to make sure there's not a lot of filler like pectin and sugar and sweets in there. A lot of fruit flavored yogurts are just loaded with about 7 or 8 teaspoons.
They're like milkshakes on hockey skates, aren't
so
they?
true.
Really crazy.
Yeah. It's so much better when you add your own fruit anyway.
Do you eat plain yogurt?
Oh, I eat plain yogurt with fruit, and sometimes I put a little bit of maple syrup on it, chia seeds for more omega-3s, or hemp seeds.
Are these evildoers here? What are the...
So a lot of people are on the almond milk kick, and it does serve a purpose for some people, but a couple things to think about. There is really little to no protein in there. There's 1 gram of protein per cup compared to 8 for a glass of milk or soy milk.
Yeah.
And
I
often
heard there's
sugary.
like 1 almond in this whole thing.
Yes.
So let's not worry about that. And speaking of healthy, I was at Idea City and was introduced to this.
Moses Neimer's annual Meeting of the Minds is back again as Idea City takes over the stage here at Kerner Hall with some of the brightest minds on the planet, including Nick Hulla, who says he's got the perfect recipe for a meatless burger.
This is a burger that's made for the hardcore meat-loving consumers. And the Impossible Burger uses approximately 74% less water, 87% less greenhouse gas emissions, and 95% less land. We can put back into natural habitats. As you can see here, we have to create a product that has every attribute that you would expect to get from meat. The way it looks raw, the way it handles, the way it cooks. So we created the fat and the muscle and put it together to really make that ground beef product. So the Impossible Burger really has 4 main components. We have the heme protein I talked about that generates all that amazing flavor and aroma. It has potato protein that takes it from that soft, malleable substance to firm as you cook. Wheat protein that gives it the structure and the chew. And the coconut oil that gives you all that juiciness and that richness.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Really yummy. I'm getting all the special effects, including a certain amount of drip in my hand.
The sloppiness of a burger, it's also an important part of that experience, what people expect.
Don't miss Idea City, airing daily on 1.
From what I understood, is that product's being sold at the meat counters in grocery stores.
I want to eat one today for lunch.
Always willing to try something new, but I'm always curious to know what is the burger made out of, the heme. What is that heme?
Well, there are all sorts of things in that burger, and so I really recommend that you go in and do a bit of research on those burgers.
So that's a big thing you were saying earlier about convenience. Is if you have your freezer stocked with good things, then your need to create a big deal out of eating is no longer a problem.
It's so true. A lot of seniors don't like to cook, or they don't have a recipe to cook something small for them. So if you can do a batch cooking on the weekend after going to the farmer's market, put the stuff in the freezer, then during the week you'll have meals that are healthy.
Another great thing to do is to make a simple marinara sauce, a tomato sauce, for your pasta. Not for every night, but just slip those portions in your freezer and they're good to go.
Or cook with other people around you, like your neighbors, have a community kitchen.
Yeah, eat family style.
Family style is big right now. We like that because people tend to eat better than they do if they eat on their own.
Yeah, well, food's meant to be shared with others.
We know that's one of the things of community, right? It's food.
Well, and visit the farmers markets, because that literally is our community. And you know, when I go to a foreign city to look into that culture, 2 things I do. I go to the local markets and I go to local smaller restaurants. People in Canada used to cook local and in season out of necessity. Now it's out of choice.
With the cost of everything coming from long distances, the hauling, the gas, it's going to become even more important. And I love in Vancouver that they have all of those pop-up
little community gardens, and
they're everywhere.
And kudos to Jen, because I know the farmers markets are logistical exercises in the middle of a big city.
They really are.
That are tough to carry out. So well done.
Very interesting. We need to take a break and we'll be right back. But first, what do you like to eat?
I eat mashed potatoes and roast and all those things.
Kind of a meat and potatoes kind of person, so I do the cooking for my husband and I.
Nice big salad with a chicken breast.
I'm a lot more plant conscious. I have a lot more plant-based meals and a lot of more protein meals as well.
Carpe Diem. Seizing the day for Canadians as we age.
It's now time to go around the table for our panel's final thoughts on meals that can heal. Jen, you want to go first?
Sure. I mean, I think if you do come out to the markets and shop at the markets, it's a really good idea to shop around, check out different prices, and buy smaller portions if you feel like you're not going to use it all.
I think the most important thing for seniors is to eat your healthy meals 3 times a day at least, or if you have a small appetite, have smaller, more frequent meals. Get your vegetables in, get your 4 food groups in, because they have nutrients in them that aren't in the other food groups. If you can have fresh foods with a family or neighbors, so that you are actually cooking a meal instead of buying it and freezing instant meals, that would be important too. And just remember that those foods are what are going to keep you strong. Get your protein and do your exercises.
Jamie,
for me, it's spend a few pennies more to eat higher quality calories but fewer of them. I know it sounds like a bit of a paradox, but the equation works. When you go into a restaurant, read the menu through. And if there's something that doesn't quite look appealing to what your dietary needs are, ask them to switch it up. I order off menu all the time, and nobody's going to get offended, and we'll work it out later.
It's like when Harry met Sally.
Exactly.
I'll have that, but I'll have it with this, and not that.
Indeed, she did.
But I think that's important too, right? You have to enjoy your food, because if you enjoy your food,
don't make it a chore.
Yeah.
Food is about joy and love and going to the market and eating well, because you'll feel better in the process. And healthy can be delicious.
Have you ever not eaten well and then you feel just so lethargic and tired?
Sure.
And then when you eat so healthfully, you have the energy to go out there and live life and enjoy and go to the market. You have that in you.
So what's the perfect lunch?
So the perfect lunch, if you want to be active in the afternoon, would be to have your protein, so tuna or other fish, which is high in the nutrients that stimulate the brain chemicals that keep you active, and not so much of the carb. But if you have a huge carb meal, you're going to feel sleepy due to the serotonin increase.
So fish and salad.
Fish and salad, a little bit of carb for energy, because you want to maybe go to the gym at the end of the day or go do your workout.
A piece of toast would be good.
Yeah.
And what
or a
about
few
dinner?
crackers.
What's your perfect dinner?
The perfect dinner would be half a plate of vegetables, a meatless meal 3 times a week, so some beans, and then a smaller portion of your carbohydrate, and then your fruit and yogurt for dessert.
And you had some books with us today that we can order. And can you tell us how to get those?
Sure, they're put out by the government, and there's a brand new version that's come out, and there are different languages, and they're all culturally appropriate recipes, and it's called Healthy Eating for Seniors, and it goes through all the different conditions that seniors might have, and then there are recipes at the back.
I'm going to order that, and I want to thank you so much for being with us. This is a subject that is fascinating to me, because we can all do so much better for ourselves. And it's just as simple as eating a good meal. So I really, really enjoyed myself.
And sharing it with others.
And sharing it with others, making a meal to share with others. Exactly. And that's the show. And remember, as our Carpe president, Moses Neimer, always says, the best way to keep going is to keep going. So stay zippy, and Carpe Diem, seize your day.